welcome to the show. My name's Tara with Santa Rosa Animal Services, and we've got some great friends for you to meet today. So we're going to start the show off with Bubba. Bubba is a beagle, and he is a sweetheart. He's a handsome black and tan boy. He's already neutered. He is very vocal, as some beagles can be. He's a nut. He loves to play with toys and chase them. He just has a great old time. He would be a great family pet for children. He probably will need a nice fenced-in yard because he does like to run. And again, he is very vocal. Right now, he's saying how it's so boring here, and what he would love more than anything is a family to call his own. So if you're interested in Mr. Bubba, he is available now for adoption. Bubba is a heartworm negative, neutered 1 to 2 year old male beagle mix, and he is very handsome. All he needs is a family to love him. So if that's you, please come and see him. Next up we have Dixie. Dixie we have listed as a Cocker Spaniel Min Pin mix. She's a spayed female, about 1.5 to 2 years old. She was actually turned in. Her owners unfortunately had to move, and they could not take Miss Dixie or her friend with them. So she was brought into the shelter. She's very sweet, as you can tell. The owner did tell us that she's kind of territorial. She likes to be the boss dog in the house. She's okay with other dogs, but she does enjoy being the top dog. So if you have another laid back dog, she should be fine with that. But we always recommend, if you do have pets and you're able to bring them in, as well as your children, to make sure it's a good match, because we don't want these guys going home and then having to get returned. We want them to leave with a family that's going to keep them and love them forever, because it's very traumatic for dogs and cats to come into the shelter anyway. And if they leave and come back, they don't understand it's not their fault. So we want them to be happy and only go out once with a loving home. And again, Dixie is a real sweet girl. She's heartworm negative, already spayed. Therefore, her adoption fee is extremely low. It's only $20. Girl. And all you have to do is get her her rabies done, and then she will be good to go. We always do recommend that you take an animal if you get them from the shelter. We do not have a vet on the premises, so we recommend take them to the vet, get them a well checkup, just to make sure everything's in good order. And that's always good for any new pet that you get, whether it be from a shelter or rescue or so forth. But Dixie is looking for a loving home, and she would love to go home with you. So if you're interested, please come and see her. Next up we have Coco. Coco is one of my favorites right now at the shelter. She's a Doberman mix. She's probably about 1.5 years old. She's not spayed, so she will be needs to be spayed prior to leaving the shelter. The way that works is if you adopt an animal that's not altered, the adoption fee is a little lower, but then you have to prepay for the spay or neuter at your vet's office. And then once you do that, you bring the receipt back to us, and we would transport them to the vet on the day of their surgery. Sometimes they have to stay at the shelter a little bit longer, maybe 2 or 3 days longer, until they can get into their appointment. But that way you don't even have to take them to the vet. We do that, and you take them, you pick them up from the vet rather, and then, you know, you're the hero. You pick them up from the vet. So Coco is a special girl. She came into the shelter as a stray. She was just really sad looking. She cries, and she's just a whiny girl, and I think it's because she wants attention. She's very sweet. She does great on a leash. We think that either she is house trained or that she is easily house trained, because she does try to hold it till you take her out to potty. And she's just a big old baby, and she really wants someone to take her home and love her. So if you'd like to meet Coco, please come and visit her at the shelter, because she's really, really sad and needs a loving home. Next up we have Calvin. Calvin is an American Foxhound mix. He's probably about 1.5 to 2 years old. He came in as a stray, so we don't know a whole lot about his history, but he's very, very sweet and gentle. He walks well on a leash. He's just a little nervous, so it takes him a little while. He's a little slower. He's unsure of himself, but I think in a household that's just a little patient with him, he's going to be a fantastic pet. He's very gentle and very docile, so I really think he'd make a great pet for someone. If you are interested in him, he is heartworm negative. He will need to be neutered prior to leaving to the shelter, but the adoption fee is only $15 plus the cost of the neuter. So if you're interested in meeting Calvin, please bring your pets, bring your children, and bring your family, and let's come meet him and see if we can find a match for him. If you have pets at home, we want to encourage you to stay current on their vaccinations. It's very important that they stay healthy. One of the ways that they can do that is being protected. So rabies vaccinations are required by law, and you can do those with your local veterinarians. Only a licensed veterinarian can do those vaccinations for you, so make sure that it is done by a licensed vet and not picked up over the counter, as it is not recognized that way. Another important thing that we want to talk about is heartworms. If you live in the South, it's definitely an issue if you have pets. We want to keep these guys protected, so the best way to do that is keep them on a heartworm preventative. You can have them tested at your local veterinarian and then get them on the monthly preventative. The great thing about it is it also acts as a dewormer most of the time if you check the ingredients, and that's just an extra preventative for your pet, and it keeps them healthier. Mosquitoes can bite your babies and give them heartworms, and it is a terrible way for them to die. It's a terrible disease, and it's easily preventable with a small pill. It just takes a few dollars a month to keep them healthy. So check with your local vet about that, or if you have any questions, you can call us at the shelter at 983-4680. Next up, we have Bella. Bella is a Labrador Retriever mix. She's a black lab mix. She's about, hey girl, 1.5 years old. We have had her spayed since she's been here at the shelter a little while, so we're really hoping to get her adopted and find her a good home. She gets really bored in that kennel because she likes to run and play, so it's a little hard for her being at the shelter. So we really want her to get a good home so she doesn't get too bored here. She loves to play and run, but she's very active, but she actually calms down after about 10 minutes. So I don't think she'd be a problem with being too hyper if you like a lab breed. She just needs a little attention, a little running and playing buddies, and then she's really fun. She walks well on a leash. She is strong though, so it'd be good for someone to be able to walk her and just get her used to that, because she does mind well. And she's really a sweet girl. She seems to like other dogs. We do recommend, obviously, you bring in your pets to make sure it's a good match. Bring in your children. We want everybody to make sure it's a good match for the whole family, because this is a lifetime commitment, and we don't want to see Bella have to come back to the shelter, do we, girl? So if you're interested in meeting Miss Bella, she's up for adoption now. She's looking for that forever home. Next up, we have Katie. Katie is a 6-year-old beagle. She came in as a stray to the shelter, so we don't know a lot of history about her, but we do feel she had a pretty rough life before she got here. She's got some scarring on her face, and she's very timid, so we think, you know, things were probably pretty rough for Miss Katie before she came to the shelter. But now she's here, and we've tested her. She's heartworm negative. She's a very sweet girl. She loves to run and play in the yard, but she's still kind of timid, and she's probably going to need a nice, quiet, patient home. Maybe somebody lives by themselves. I think she would do okay with other dogs, but a lot of noise and things like that tends to kind of freak her out a little bit. So we want her to go to a very calm, comfortable home where she can just take her time to get to know everybody, and someone that can be very patient with her. She is very sweet and loving, and she's just really nervous, and we just want her to go to a very special home because I think she's really had a rough life. So if you're interested in adopting Miss Katie and giving her the life that she deserves, please come to the shelter and meet her. She's available now. She is heartworm negative, but she will have to be spayed before leaving the shelter. But look at this face. This girl needs a second chance. So if you're interested in giving her that chance, please come see her. Her name is Katie. Hi, we'd like to talk to you about Partners for Pets. It's a program we have here in Santa Rosa County for Santa Rosa Animal Services. If you've seen the commercials with the sad music and everything, and you want to help those pets, but maybe you would rather help the pets directly in your community, and that's what Partners for Pets does. It's a program that where any money you put into that goes directly to the animals in your county, right here in the shelter. It helps to get them vetted, get medical attention that they need, get them spayed or neutered at times to help them get adopted, and dogs like Dawn can find a loving home, and that all goes right to that. So if you'd like to help Dawn and her friends and you want to give a little money, go to the Partners for Pets program. You can go to santarosa.fl.gov, click on the dog or cat. It will take you to our animal services page, and that will give you more information about it. Or you can come into the shelter, or you can give us a call at 983-4680. Dawn and all her friends appreciate your help. Next up, we have Cameo. Cameo is going to make a cameo appearance because she has got things to do, people to see, places to go, and balls to chase, and all that. Cameo is a brindle, beautiful girl. She's a Boston Terrier mix. We think she's about 3 or 4 years old, and she acts like a puppy still, as you can tell. And actually, come here, Cameo. Cameo actually had a litter of puppies when she came into the shelter, and she was a really good mom. She took great care of them. We got them into a local rescue so that they could get some one-on-one time to get nice and healthy before they're adopted. And we kept Cameo here, hoping that we can find that perfect home for her. She's heartworm negative. She's very sweet, as you can tell. She's active, but once she gets some of that energy, however, she does calm down. Right now, she's just super excited to be out of her kennel, and she wants everybody to know that they should come to the shelter and look for themselves a forever friend. And if you meet Cameo, hopefully she'll be the one, but if not, maybe one of her friends. But Cameo is a great girl, and she's got a great personality, and she's very friendly, and she'd be great to take for walks. She loves everybody, and she loves to play. So if you're interested in Cameo, please come and see her at the shelter. She needs a loving home. Next up, we have Marshall. Marshall is a little bit shy, so hopefully you can get a pic of his pretty face because he's kind of shy on camera. He's a very, very handsome hound dog. He came in as a stray. He was probably just roaming around out there chasing something, got lost, or who knows what. So now we're looking for a family to love him and take care of him. Hounds in general are just They're really docile dogs and very sweet. We rarely get a hound in that's mean or naughty here at the shelter. And Marshall's the exception as far as being nice. He's like super nice, super sweet and super loving. He's just not only a nice guy, he's just a total doll. And we hope we can find a good family for him. He's just very gentle, and we don't know what he was doing out there running around, but obviously he needs somebody that's going to care about him and wonder where he is if he doesn't come home. He needs to be neutered, and that's definitely going to help with the roaming around, because he was probably out maybe chasing a lady friend or something, and that way he's not going to want to do that. He's going to want to stay at home and just someone to love him and take care of him, because I don't think he probably had very much of that, whatever was going on out there. He definitely needs to know that people love him, and he's super sweet, and he's unsure of himself, so somebody with a little patience that's going to take him for a walk and kind of coax him into doing things, I think would be great for him. He's a very handsome boy, as you can tell. He needs to put on a little groceries because he's a little on the thin side, but other than that, he's super sweet. Are you a super sweet boy? Yeah. And he's a very happy guy. He's just a little shy. So if you're interested in meeting Mr. Marshall, he would really love a good family. So please come and see him at the shelter. Next up we have Kelly. Kelly's a beautiful German Shepherd mix. As you can tell, she's very sweet. She is already spayed. She's about 2 years old. She came in with her friend. Unfortunately, the owner had to surrender her and her buddy. Her buddy's a little dog, and they get along wonderfully together. So we have them together in a kennel, but they are adoptable separately if you just fall in love with one of them. But we hope you might fall in love with both, because they seem to really care for each other. Come here, girl. And Kelly is a sweet girl, and her favorite thing is belly rubs. I mean, if you just, she's like, just rub my belly. She's super sweet. She does great on a leash. She's an active dog, but not overly active. So if you want something of medium activity level, she would be great. We don't know if she's house trained or not, but she's very intelligent and very clean in her kennel, so I would assume it'd be easy to house train her if she hasn't been trained already. And she loves belly rubs. Did I tell you she loves belly rubs? She loves belly rubs. If you just pet her and she's like, oh yes, you could do this forever, and she would just be so happy with that. And she's super sweet and friendly. Her negative, spayed. All she needs is some family to love her. So if you're interested in being her permanent belly rubber and taking care of this girl forever, please come and see her. Her name is Kelly.
Hello everyone, my name is Marco. I'm a German Shepherd mix here at the shelter, and I tell you what, I'd really like to get out of here. It's an okay place, these girls are okay, but I'd much rather be at a home with somebody who's going to love me. I love long walks, I like cuddling, and I'm easily trained because I'm a smart boy. If you're interested in adopting me and taking me home, come see me at the shelter. My name is Marco.
Next up, we have Dawn. Dawn is listed as an Alaska Malamute. She's a beautiful girl, as you can tell. She's just absolutely gorgeous. She's about 3 years old or so. We don't know her history. She actually came in as a stray. And this breed likes to run, so sometimes we do see them here at the shelter, more often than you would imagine. As you can tell, she's absolutely beautiful. She's very smart. She's a little stubborn, as the breed can be. You want to definitely have a fenced yard or be able to walk your dog on a regular basis, because she's going to want to run and play and get some of the energy out. Beautiful girl, as you can tell. We recommend, if you have other dogs, to bring them in, make sure it's a match. Bring in your kids too. We always like to make sure it's a good family match for everyone, not just for one person or just for one pet. And this beautiful girl is not spayed that we know of, so she's going to have to be spayed before leaving the shelter. Her adoption fee is only $15. She's heartworm negative, as are all the dogs that are in adoption at the shelter. And she just needs somebody to give her another chance and take good care of her. So if that's you, please come see this girl at the shelter. We would love for you to come to the shelter to meet some of our babies that are looking for good homes. So if you're wondering when to come see us, you can come to the shelter. Adoption hours are 9 till 4, Monday through Friday, for our adoption animals. Saturdays we are open for adoptions 9 until 2, and you can check our website for certain dates that we have available where we take animals to PetSmart. So please consider that as well. If you're not as comfortable coming to the shelter, you can also go to our events at PetSmart. Also, we do have PetSmart cats there on a regular basis, so they stay at the facility there. We have them here at the shelter as well as at PetSmart. So if you're interested in a cat, you can always go to PetSmart anytime, and we should have some kitties available there for adoption. Every animal that goes into our adoption program at the shelter has been temperament tested. While we cannot guarantee that they are going to be perfect, we do try to make sure that they're going to be friendly dogs. We temperament with the basic items of, are they food aggressive? Do they seem to have issues with people? Do they seem to have issues with men? Do they seem to have issues with being touched in certain areas? things like that. We want to try to see if they're good with other animals. The best way for you to make sure it's a good match is to come in and meet the animal. If you have other pets and you're able to bring them, that's the best way. Bring your pets in, make sure it's a good match. In the shelters, sometimes you can meet an animal and maybe they're real shy, but when you get them out, they're a little more rambunctious. So it's great for them to meet one-on-one and see if they're going to like each other, because some people don't like each other and some animals don't like each other either. And also with your kids, we want to make sure, sometimes we don't know if an animal is kid friendly, and sometimes they absolutely adore children. We have no idea until your child walks in. So if you'd like to come in, meet a pet, bring your family, bring your pets, and let's make sure it's a good match for everyone. Next up we have Garth. Garth we think is Beagle Jack Russell mix. He's about 5 or 6 months old, so he's going to be a little bit bigger, but he's not going to be a big dog. He's going to probably stay around 15 pounds or so, we think, because we can't ever guarantee that, so just keep that in mind. When you get a shelter dog, sometimes we can be way off. Most of the time we're close to the mark, but you know, every once in a while we get it wrong, so just keep that in mind. But he's a little short, stocky guy, super cute. He does get on a leash. He's a very active boy, but he's still a puppy. You got to figure he's about 6 months old, so he's definitely, you know, got a lot to learn. He's a great age to take to obedience class and learn some basic commands, since he's been stuck here at the shelter, so he hasn't learned anything. It's not his fault. Unfortunately, we don't have time to, you know, behavioral train all the dogs or do basic commands. We do have great volunteers that come in and walk them, but again, way more dogs than there are volunteers, so the attention that they get is not suitable to what they need. So when they get into a home environment, that's where you come in and just spend a little time with them. A consistent little bit of time every day will just do amazing work for them and make them much better pets. And then when you take them places, they'll be well behaved and they'll mind you and all those wonderful things. And that comes from just a little time every day. Just like when you spend time with your children and you do things consistently and it turns out great, that's how it does with pets. So keep that in mind. And this little guy is up for adoption. He's going to be needs to be neutered before leaving the shelter, but he's a great fella, heartworm negative, and very loving and sweet. And if you're looking for a play buddy that's going to love you and do things with you and just want to ride in the truck with you and go on adventures, this is the guy for you. Again, his name is Garth, and he's looking for a new family. Next up we have Barty. Barty is a Min Pin, a beautiful girl around 8 years old. She was surrendered by her owner who could no longer care for her, so now we're looking for a new family for her. She's super sweet, great on a leash, very loving and sweet. She would make a family pet that would just be wonderful for somebody, or if you're just looking for just a dog to cuddle with you and maybe you live alone and you need a buddy, this would be a great girl. She's just a very well-mannered girl, super sweet. 8 years old, yeah, that's a little older, but for a smaller breed, it's definitely not as old as it sounds. These guys can live 15 years old or so. So, you know, 8 is really not that bad. What you're getting is a dog that's a little more mature, a dog that's less likely to chew up your blinds or chew up your furniture. She's just going to be content to hang out and love you, but she still wants to go for walks and everything because she still is an active girl. She's super sweet. One of our favorites here. She's just a great little girl. Barty is available for adoption, so please come and see her if you're interested in meeting her. Next up we have Ivy. Ivy's a beautiful black Labrador Retriever mix. This girl has been in the shelter for quite some time now. Actually, when she came in as a puppy, we had her here and she started getting a little bit of hair loss. So we had her checked by the veterinarian and they did a skin scrape, determined that she had Demodex mange. And that sounds scary, but it's not quite as bad as it sounds. It's something that's genetic. She probably got it from her mommy and then it was passed on to her. And then being in a stressful place like the shelter caused her to get a little bit of hair loss. So it's a mite, and she was treated for it, and now she doesn't have any more issues. That's something she will always carry, and she could have a breakout later on, but probably not. I personally had 2 dogs with that in the past, and actually they both had great skin throughout their whole lives. They had a couple outbreaks, and then other than that they were in fine shape. So it's not something your kids are going to catch or your other dogs, nothing like that. So no need to worry about that. It's just something, if she gets highly stressed, she might have a little breakout, and you want to stay on top of it. If you ever notice any hair loss, that would just be something to keep an eye on. But as you can tell, she has a little bit of thinner hair around her eyes, and that's where her hair has grown back. But she's a fantastic girl. She has been at the shelter and she has stayed just sweet and loving, had a great personality since she's been here. And most puppies would just go kind of nutty just being here, getting all bored. Come here, girl. And she's just stayed as sweet as can be. She loves to cuddle. She loves to play. We put blankets in her for her every afternoon. She loves to cuddle on her blankie, and she loves soft, fluffy toys. She throws them around. She's not really destructive. She just loves to play with them. I think she would make a great family pet. She still does need some work on her leash walking. walking, and that's our fault. We unfortunately don't have enough time to walk them as often as we would like. Come here, girl. But she loves cuddling, and if you can tell, she's a silly, silly girl. So we really want this pretty girl to go to a loving home where she can get the attention that she needs and loves. As you can tell, she loves to play, and she's just a favorite of ours. We just love her to death. So if you're interested in this pretty girl, she's only about 5 months old, so she is probably going to be a nice sized dog. And as you can tell, she's kind of a ham. She loves couches. She loves cuddling. So if you would like to meet this silly girl, please come see her before she runs off.
Pets can add so much to our lives. Sadly, Santa Rosa County Animal Services takes in over 9,000 animals a year, but less than 1 in 5 ever go home. You can change that. Through Santa Rosa County's Partners for Pets program, 100% of your donation stays local to help with outreach, spay and neuter, and adopt-a-thon programs. Together, we can reach the goal of a loving home for every pet. Become a partner for pets. Find out more at www.santarosa.fl.gov. That's www.santarosa.fl.gov.
We didn't want to forget about you feline lovers out there, so we've got a couple cats for you to meet. Our first one is Sweetie. This pretty girl is probably about 6 months old. She came in as a stray, and we just loved her to pieces. She is so sweet, and she just purrs and purrs and purrs all the time, pretty much no matter what she's doing. Very, very loving, as you can tell. You can kind of just cuddle with her, do whatever you want. She's just super, super sweet and loving, and she's a great age. She seems to like everybody she meets. She's just a true sweetheart. So if you'd like to meet this beautiful girl, come see her at the shelter. We do test our cats. We do a triple test here, an antigen test, so just like the vets do, and that way we know they're healthy. We also deworm them and give them upper respiratory vaccination, so we try to make sure they're as healthy as we can before we send them out to a new home. If you are interested in meeting this girl, her adoption fee is $10, and then the prepay for the spay will be according to what vet you choose. You can choose any vet in Santa Rosa County, and we will transport her there, and you pick her up straight from the vet, and you get to be her hero by picking her up and taking her home. If you're interested in Sweetie, she's looking for a good home, so please come and meet her. We'd like to thank you for tuning in to watch our show, and we hope that you will consider adopting at the shelter if you're interested in getting a new pet. Remember, adopt, don't shop. Come to the shelter or give us a call at 983-4680 if we can answer any questions for you. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.